Yo ho ho, Bills Mafia. Welcome to yet another edition of Bills Mafia Happy Hour. As always, your host, Dan Mitchell. And of course, the show is brought to you by the best pizza in Buffalo, New York. Hands down. Now, listen, I live in South Carolina. I was born in Buffalo, relocated down here when I was just a young kid. And pizza down here is not the same. And let me tell you what, when I think about Buffalo, I miss the pizza. I miss the wings, obviously. Bocce Club Pizza, hands down. Best in that area. Best part about it is that they are legitimately shipping nationwide delivery right on their damn website, okay? And they deliver nationwide. I'm talking your front doorstep. And all you got to do is just put in code DAN, that's D-A-N, and then you're going to get 10% off your first order. It's going to be great for football season. Not going to lie to you because y'all know that I always have a bunch of people over at my house making them watch Bills games. And then obviously have some other TVs going on with some of the other games, whatever. But the main event's always there. And when they come to my house, now everybody on the face of the planet is going to be enjoying some Bocce Club pizza when I have my weekly NFL parties. That is for damn sure. You know what? I was even thinking as well, when I'm in New York, or when I'm in New Jersey, and I'm going to watch week 1, Buffalo Bills versus New York Jets. I don't even know. Maybe I might even go on ahead and just order a couple of pies to be delivered right to the hotel. I think I would need to find an oven, but oh my God, I would love to be passing that pizza around like there is absolutely no tomorrow. What is going on, everybody? Jordan Smith says, happy Bocce Club Pizza Tuesday. This should be a good topic for discussion. Absolutely. I'm pretty sure he's referring right to the title of this video. And it's been something I think that's been like very centralized around, hey, like what is going to be the 53-man roster? What is Brandon Beane going to do? Because ladies and gentlemen, hate to be the bearer of bad news right here, but one thing I can say is that the Buffalo Bills, as far as cap is concerned, we're only about $5 million above right over now. So Brandon Beane's going to have to make some moves. I mean, we do have some wiggle room, but there's going to be, hands down, there's going to be a move, whether or not that it is releasing a player that everybody is super excited about or somebody gets traded, right? And there's 2 names specifically that I could see being the most likely, that I could see the front office and even the coaching staff agreeing that, hey, we could probably go without this guy or these guys by itself. Spoiler alert, they're both on the thumbnail. Boogie Basham is probably going to be the number 1 in my opinion. I've heard trade thrown around, but guys, honestly, I mean, I'm not sure whether or not that Basham has put up enough numbers, right? In the 2 years that he has been here. I'll go ahead and just share the screen. Here's the thing, right? Everybody in the world always talks about, oh, hey, we could trade this guy. But my biggest thing is I feel like a lot of people don't ask the question, is he tradable, right? Is he somebody that a team would like to give up assets? A team would be fine with giving up assets for that said player, right? He's been with 2 years in the league. These are basically his stats. Not a monster sack situation. He ended up having that 1 interception, assisted tackles here and there combined. It is what it is. So my thing is that when it comes down into Boogie Basham, I get 1,000% seeing him be a release candidate for the Buffalo Bills. Trade would be great. I mean, maybe some teams that are really well into their rebuild young team. Think of like the Houston Texans, for example. Or I'm like trying to think of like another team that might want to have this guy. Like, don't get me wrong, right? I'm not saying that other teams wouldn't be interested. But the one thing that I am saying is that I think that they wouldn't trade for him. They would wait for Boogie Basham to be released so they can negotiate an own deal for him by herself. I mean, honestly, like when I look at that whole depth chart, roster, etc., especially with this defensive line, y'all, we're pretty stacked, man. We're pretty stacked. I mean, soon as when I ended up seeing that Leonard Floyd was added right to this defensive line, right? And it's always funny, especially since he came from like a 3-4 scheme. He's noted as a linebacker, but he's going to be running off the edge. It's just how it is. he's going to be off of the edge at that point. Soon as when I saw that, that was the writing on the wall, like right in my opinion. I mean, honestly, guys, like just going ahead and just looking at some of our other depth right there. Von Miller, once he's back, he's going to be completely fine. And then afterwards as well, you see some more of these defenses. You have Greg Rousseau, who's not going anywhere. I think Boogie Basham is that guy that could potentially be the biggest name that could potentially be somebody that the Buffalo Bills release. I really see it. As far as AJ Epinesa, I don't foresee us getting rid of him. I think there's a lot of upside with this guy. He had 6.5 sacks last year. I think that he probably had one of the quietest, most efficient defensive line performances all last year. So it wouldn't shock me, say, for example, that we shopped him around. Maybe Brandon Beane is still like fiending for some draft picks. He feels like we don't have enough already. I feel like AJ Epinesa would probably be one of the only players that would be tradable, that I think a team would actually send over assets for. But those right there, those are my two names that I foresee as being, and so I'd say like the most notable names, right, of players that could very well not be on the Buffalo Bills that have been large names. It is what it is. Noah's coming up. He's saying Bocce is where it is. Go Bills. Listen, man, nationwide delivery, ladies and gentlemen. Best pizza in Buffalo, botchclubpizza.com. Go to national delivery and type in code Dan. Okay? Get a taste from home. Send it to somebody who's moved away from Buffalo, or maybe you're driving distance from Buffalo, right? And you just want to stop in and say, hey, Dan Mitchell sent me. Knock that out. Let me know. And so even if I live in Florida, yes, sir, absolutely. Absolutely. And so for the last 4 days, I've been on hold for Pat McAfee, trying to get on to talk about Tom Grassi's 30 stadiums in 30 days, 3 hours today. So the point of story is it's 5 p.m. and I'm drunk and I just ordered Bocce. I love it. Cody, I absolutely love that. I absolutely love that. Did you mention code Dan for 10% off your order? I hope you did. Maybe the cashier has no idea what they're talking about. Who knows? Because I spoke with the general manager. So maybe that deal is just completely fine. Dude, listen, I am turning the corner. I mean, this is like already factual information, but I am letting everyone know about the best pizza in Buffalo, New York. Absolutely love it. So we got Alphonse coming in. My boy, what's up? What's up? Say that I'm subscribed to someone. I hit the like button before I even watch the video. Let's help this guy beat the algorithm. Guys, ladies and gents, man, listen, it is always you guys. Honestly, I feel like I haven't even initiated the smash the like button situation in weeks. It really is. I mean, I love, and so especially Alphonse, and then Mike Green does it a lot. I know that Cody does it a lot, and like a shit ton of people always do it. I sincerely appreciate that. And you know what? It's absolutely right. It takes less than a second. It's completely free. And it helps me out with that dreaded YouTube algorithm. Now, don't get me wrong. I do want my content to be pushed out in front of the eyeballs of some football depraved fans that need as much content as possible. But it is the off season, ladies and gents. I am looking at the 50 right now that are watching this. And I know that you guys are truly the diehards. You want to talk Bills. You want to talk football. So that like button helps me out tremendously. And especially during the season. Oh my God, I'm going to be on you. I'm going to be on you about that. Spin's coming in. Spin's another great one. And we want to talk about Boogie Basham because I already outlined, I said, like, out of the two players that I could see as far as shocking names, and if anybody has any other player that you could see as a potential release or a potential trade candidate, that is a notable name on this team, please sound off in the live chat. But I'm sitting here, guys, and like there's only two names that come to mind. And that right there is going to be Boogie Basham and then AJ Epinesa. Those are the only two, in my sincere opinion, that I see being realistic, right? So definitely, dude, sound the fuck off, boys. Sound the fuck off. Spin0481 saying that I could see the Bills choosing Boogie over AJ only because AJ is a free agent next year and Boogie will be cost controlled for another year, but AJ is better than Boogie. That's interesting, right? That's definitely interesting because I know that only first rounders have that 5th year option. And then AJ this is his 4th year. right? So trading him like during his last year of eligibility on a rookie deal, I'm not entirely sure. I think that since we've had such inconsistency on the defensive line, right? Like when Von Miller just completely got hurt, our overall production went through or went down the drain, essentially, right? So my opinion is that I feel like that we would probably want to keep AJ over Boogie just for overall production purposes, right? I mean, you look at a guy that had 6.5 sacks. Maybe it had to do with the fact that Von Miller was also a part of that line, and that sort of helped some situations with that. But I think right now, once we saw how we were literally a one-trick pony when it came down into pass rush, I think that we're going to hold on to AJ Epenesa in hopes that this fourth year is his year, right? So definitely interesting take. I see where you're coming from, but in my opinion, I think that we're going to be going more so from a production standpoint. And I feel like that we would be fine with AJ walking. I mean, not unless AJ just comes out there and dude puts up like an ungodly amount of numbers, pressures, sacks. We're probably not going to retain him next year, but it will definitely be interesting. It will definitely be interesting. Hey, Dan, what's going on, bro? What's up, Wally? It's good, brother. Hope all is well. That would suck to either let Basham or Epenesa go and they ball out somewhere else. I just think they haven't gave them enough playing time. I definitely understand. I think that it's just going to be some difficult conversations to have, right? We got to drop it down to 53. And I think as far as a competitive room is concerned, like a player that we could afford to release from a specific core is going to be more on the defensive line side of things, right? I look at everything else, and while I've seen worse depth, I've certainly seen worse depth. I don't know, like as far as like stacked talent, as far as rooms are concerned, like not wide receiver, like nothing that's proven at least, right? So we're probably going to want to retain as many of the big names in that category. Run game was a massive issue. Here, let me go on ahead and actually share my screen so you guys know what I'm talking about as well. And so I look at half of these names too, right? Like running back, like I feel like all four are going to make this team right here, ladies and gents, right? Like we need help with our run game so significantly that all four of these names are such an integral part right to that offense. Wide receiver too, as well. I really don't think that we can afford to get rid of our like top five, like as it goes. Offensive line, definitely not. That's for damn sure, especially since we don't know what the hell Spencer Brown's gonna do. I mean, maybe Spencer Brown. He could be a dude. Wow. That's a hot take right there. And Spencer Brown being on the list. Spencer Brown being on the list of a potential release / a potential, who knows, man? Very intriguing. I mean, we did end up getting Brandon Shell, like as right tackle as well. I think Spencer Brown might be a bit of a stretch, actually. I'm going to digress. It's Wally T is coming in saying, what are your thoughts on everybody staying healthy? I think it's wildly important, man. I think last year we had a giant rain cloud over us as far as luck was concerned in the injury category. And I just hope that our training staff is on point. I hope that we have nothing but absolute immaculate field conditions, because historically the Bills have played relatively healthy for the longest time. It was just last year where it was off, right? Like we lost a lot of players. I mean, really outside of the Trey White injury back in 2021, we stayed healthy for the most part. Last year, we just couldn't catch a break. And a lot of our players were injured and just played through. Cody is coming in saying that the like button is equivalent to Josh Allen and Haley Steinfeld. We all know it's going to smash. Boogie is greater than AJ. I love that analogy. Smash that like button like it owes you money, totally free, takes less than a second, helps me out tremendously with the YouTube algorithm. Love you guys for all the support as always. And so I think there will be some O-linemen that could be traded. So I always like pointing out like the difference between whether or not that they're going to be traded or released. I'm looking at our roster as well right now. Like, we just paid Ryan Bates. He's not going everywhere. We just paid Connor McGovern. Not unless like they pull like an OJ Howard where we like where we pay the guy and then we release him immediately afterwards. And I'm not sure if with David Quessenberry is going to be traded for. I'm not sure if someone's going to want to go ahead and pay that sort of thing. I like Osiris Torrance there too. We just drafted the guy. He's not going anywhere. Same with Ike Bucker. He's going to be fine. I really think that that defensive line is going to be like the number one area that Brandon Beane looks for trimming the weights, if you will. I mean, when you look at this overall depth chart from the very beginning, there's a bunch of names on this depth chart. Like, look at this. Like, look at this, bro. Right? There's names that none of us even know what's going on right now. You know what I mean? Like with a Cameron Klein, with a Cortez, so Broughton, or maybe like a Kendall Vickers or something along those lines as well. Oh yeah, I forgot about Shane Ray. And so I forgot about Shane Ray as well. That guy's had a very, very good minicamp. So he's also a sleeper to make this team as well. And so you look at like some like, so these guys fourth on the depth chart, they're 1,000% going to be gone. But then it's going to be a difficult conversation. Like, who's going to be second on the depth chart that leaves, or that's a target at least. So it's something that we have to think about. Yeah, no fifth year for AJ since he was a second rounder. Absolutely. Like, fifth year options are only for firsts. Dan, how many running backs are we keeping from the cut? 3 to 4. Man, like, not unless one of them just absolutely lays an egg, like during training camp, or say, for example, like during like a preseason game, I see us keeping all 4. I really do. 110%, man. I mean, with James Cook, we just drafted him. I know the city of Buffalo, the coaching staff, the front office loves him. I think Damian Harris is going to be our RB1. Frankly, I really do, as long as he can stay healthy. And I think Latavius Murray is a great piece. And then obviously with Nyheim Hines, we're going to keep him too. So I'm 1,000% leaning on keeping 4 running backs this year. And so AJ will ball this year. Just watch. So AJ was at Vaughn's camp. Boogie was not. Listen, man, at the end of the day, I do see us keeping AJ Epenesa. I really do. I think that he has a lot of upside. I'm not necessarily sure that we're going to bring him back next year on a contract, not unless the dude absolutely just shows out, which I should be expecting that as well. Glenn, he's coming in. Bills don't make the playoffs. Von Miller will be traded. I think he'd probably just retire at this point, man. He's getting up in that into the high 30s and stuff along those lines. I think dude would probably just retire after that. I'm not even sure if we'd trade him. And so I'm pretty sure we actually have an out from his contract at the end of this year. It could be at the end of his third year on the Bills. But for some reason, my gut's telling me that I'm pretty sure it's the second. And so I forgot to say this on the last live stream, but the Bears have a good chance of getting a winning record to the lowest record of 7-10. So you're calling the Bears make the playoffs of 7-10. I've seen crazier things. I mean, best example would hands down have to be the NFC South several years in a row. I am missing a lot. It is completely fine. Listen, you are here, and there's a lot of things that we need to discuss. Matthew is coming in saying, hey, Dan, what's up? What's new? Catch me up. Hey, man, listen, right now we are going through the 53-man roster. We're not doing a prediction, but we're going to be presented with a difficult conversation in, I would say, 2-3 weeks leading up to training camp, going into training camp. There's going to be a surprise release. There's going to be a surprise trade of a name that is known within the Buffalo Bills organization. We've boiled it down to, we think that it's going to be either AJ Epenesa, who will be traded, or we think it's going to be Boogie Basham due to the amount of depth that we have on our defensive line already. I'm thinking it's a hell of a lot more likely that Boogie Basham is going to be the one that sees the casualty, that sees the cut, but that's just me throwing out a bunch of random predictions. As of right now, we're discussing anybody else that could potentially be traded or released. That would be a surprise to us, but that's the main topic of it. Still got Kingsley, so that could be cut and a few others. Okay, not so Bean wouldn't give up Brown after supporting him so much thus far. After this season, maybe. He's been hit or miss, right? Some say he was playing through an injury as well. His first year was better than his second year. It wasn't inspiring by any stretch of the imagination. I was just spitballing some names. You know what I mean? Spin. Looks like Cody said that AJ is better than Boogie. Garrett, what's going on, man? Was real close. Was real close to buying the Haley Steinfeld T-shirt because of you, Dan. Dude, you know what, man? I am this close. I am this close, right to dropping my merch line. I've been hard at work designing a bunch of clothes, so you will have an option coming up soon. And so I like reached out to like this consultant and stuff like that or whatever that's like really good at designing like sort of these NFL inspired shirts, like super, super stylish too. Super drippy, as the kids say, right? So I think you guys are going to be super excited about once that drops out. You will be happy about it, Garrett. Trust me. Because knowing me. And so I'm just going to become one of those YouTubers that just like exclusively wears his merch. That's it. Super cringy, but here we are. Scott F. YouTube is pissing me off, dude. I was early today, so I hit the let me get notified button when the stream starts and got distracted at work. So I missed the first half hour of the stream. Go Bills. Listen, Scott, doesn't matter, brother, because you know why you're here right now. And so I see your continued support on a regular basis, and I sincerely appreciate you for that. Just to catch you up, we're just discussing names that could potentially be released and also at the end of the day be traded, because there's going to be some difficult conversations, man. That's going to be like the leading topic, I would say, as of right now, is what is this 53-man roster going to look like? I think for the remainder of this week, a lot of these live streams and a lot of these episodes and a lot of my content, for that being said, is going to be centralized around let's predict this damn 53-man roster, because frankly, we're going to have to make it work out. Also, good afternoon, everybody. As always, go Bills. Yeah, Mike Green is saying that we are keeping 4 running backs. Hines will be mainly special teams. Absolutely. Although that I still would love him to be a part of our damn pass game as well. Just throw him into the slot a hell of a lot more than what he was last year. Okay? That's the one thing that I'm looking for, man. Absolutely. Spin 0421 is saying O-linemen are lacking in the NFL. Even below average offensive linemen have value. True. Very true, man. Very, very true. So I think my Spencer Brown take probably didn't make the most sense, but it's hard to cherry pick names that are known as like Buffalo Bills, right? That could be released or could be traded. I think one's going to happen. I just don't know who it's going to be, right? I'm still sort of sticking to my guns about Boogie. So with Jordan Phillips, Shaq Lawson, and AJ Klein could be released or traded. I feel like linebacker would be interesting, right? I'm not sure how confident that McDermott would be in throwing Dotson in there, especially since he is a bit younger. He is good, though. I think Terrell Dotson might actually blow up. And then Dorian Williams is a rookie. Okay, I think you may have made me a believer. And so I think you may have made me a believer. I could see AJ. Okay, yeah. And so I could see AJ Klein being a potential trade or a potential release. Shaq Lawson, too, could be that. Say, for example, that they did want to hold on to Boogie a little bit more and they just want, but Shaq is like a really good locker room presence. And so players like him, he has like that veteran leadership to him as well. So that might be difficult, but I wouldn't be completely surprised. And Jordan Phillips just has a difficult time staying healthy, right? Like he just has a very difficult time staying healthy. So that is the only thing that could get to me. With the new rules for punt returns, do you think that Nyheim Hines will be placed in a different scheme? Because personally, I hate that it's possible. Dude Man had found a position of success. No, I still think that he's going to be our predominant kick returner. I really do. Although that Deontay Hardy has had some very good success as well. What I would love to see from Hines is, like I just said earlier, I would love for that man to line up out of the slot. He's an absolute weapon when it comes into the pass game. He was exactly that with the Colts, but for some reason, we didn't really see too many snaps of him lined up in that position. There were so many opportunities, man, and we were so desperate for another playmaker in that scheme. So it's not as much of like what I think is going to happen. It's what I'm crossing my fingers and hoping will happen for the most part. That's where I'm getting. Okay, Dunn was good. Got it. So we can get out of the Vaughn contract next year. It's a 3-year deal, but we could use the other years if we want to move money around and or keep him longer if he still wants to play after next year. And so it's not for punt returns. It's only for kickoffs. Yep. So it's only for kickoffs. Still a bullshit rule. Still an absolute bullshit rule. I'm still not happy about it. I think it makes it super granola. I think it makes it like super. I'll digress. And so I can't think of a nice vocabulary word right to describe it. Brandon Tersey says DeMar Hamlin. I don't know about that. So I appreciated spin. I'm still drinking. Oh, dude, my guy. Throwing him back on a Tuesday. I can appreciate that. And so it would be hilarious to meet Josh Allen while wearing a t-shirt with his girl's face on it. Oh, man. For some reason, I have a feeling that would just be like a super hot seller. So besides Matt Barkley, who would you say is a lock for the practice squad? Lock for the practice squad? That's rough, man. That is actually a wonderful question, Jordan. Shane Ray, I would say, would be. I'm really hoping that he would make the team because I just love a good comeback story. I know that he had a lot of promise in the NFL and injuries just like fucked him over, and he had to play in the Canadian League for a little bit. I think that he could 1,000% be a lock. Definitely offensive lineman. I mean, and so I'll be completely honest with you. I have no idea about anything when it comes to Alec Anderson or Kevin Jarvis or Richard, whatever. So how you sort of have that with the pronunciation of that name as well. But locks, I would say, is 1,000% Barkley, and Shane Ray I could see as well if he does not end up making that team. Same thing with Eli Anku as well. And so although that I do see him making it, maybe Kingsley Johnson as well. It's tough out there, man. It's tough out there. Bobby HZ. So do you think there's any way that Gabe can be traded before the trade deadline? I mean, there's certainly a way, right? And so there's certainly a way, but I feel like the only possibility, and this is not going to happen at all, right? Like we are so sparing, like with proven receivers on this roster that I think Gabe's not going anywhere. I think that he's shown enough flashes where he can be hot or cold, but I think we're going to like sort of like leverage on that side where, hey, like we want that good potential Gabe Davis. We wouldn't trade him 1,000% because first off, we're desperate for receivers, right? In that playmaking scenario, and this is his last year of his contract. A lot of teams probably wouldn't like see Gabe Davis and just be like, oh yeah, let's go ahead and send over some picks for this guy right now. Although that we probably could have got him next year when he was a free agent, right? So it's possible, yeah, for sure. But I just don't see us making that move, right? So we need to trade Diggs and get what you can. And so before that thing blows up in your face after the first game, oh, Glenn, man, come on. So I honestly think Jordan Phillips will be a casualty because of his injury history. Jason, I think somebody actually made me a believer about that as well. I love Jordan Phillips, though. You know what I mean? I think back like 2-3 years ago when him and Shaq Lawson were balling out right in that Cowboys Thanksgiving game. That's all I could think about with that dude. But with Poona Ford coming in, so without Jordan Phillips, I don't even know, actually, man. I'm not even entirely sure if that would make sense. He is injured quite a bit. So with that, your guys would look like Ed Oliver, then Daquan Jones, Tim Settle, and then Poona Ford. So that's four DTs. and then you risk like some. So then you would risk injury, and so to one of them, and then afterwards you would have to rely on either Eli Anku or then one of our fourth stringers. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure if we do that. Yeah, and so Richard Forbes says the same thing. Love that. And so I think Boogie Basham and Jordan Phillips are gonna get cut and or traded. Ooh, interesting. Very interesting. All right. Turbo is coming in. Hey, dude. And so I wanted to question why you do like have it in subscriber mode. You can't take the heat from the other people. Plus, Bills are not winning the Super Bowl enough with that. Go ahead, block me, girls. Only do that. I'm pretty sure I lost like a couple of IQ points reading that. Subscribe mode is that I feel like that, and so I feel like that, you know. So with people that take the time to go on ahead and subscribe to me, then yeah, like you can go on ahead. So you can go on ahead and like participate in the live chat. And so as you can see, my boy Glennon here, he's a Dolphins fan. He loves to chirp and everything along those lines. And then you just hit the subscribe button, man. It's just how it is. Just how it is. So Jordan Phillips can't stay healthy lately. He can't, man. And he has such an opportunity. So Andy Johnson. So are you guys doing a roundtable tomorrow? We certainly are. You certainly are. Yo, Dunn716. I am 1,000% sure that I know who this guy is. This dude, I shit you not, has made like 50 plus accounts. 50 plus accounts on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram. And dude just comes in and says the same thing. He's just like, bro, someone challenges you because you're not a real Bills fan. Like, you couldn't debate me. Like, you just say this, you just say that. I'm like, dude, you're sitting there arguing with yourself. It's, dude, like, frankly, it's like one of those situations where I'm like, you know what, dude? Like, if I ever disappear, then I guarantee you that I'm locked in this dude's basement. 1,000%. He's probably like locked me up, like tied my ankles together, and like he's placed me right next to the shrine of me. And the funny thing is that, like, I mean, I know exactly like who he is, what his name is, his whole life, who he works for, and I 1,000% could blow this guy's spot up, right? But I'm not going to. I'm not going to. If Jordan Phillip goes, Poona Ford can fill that void. He can, but then, I mean, afterwards, how are we looking at from the depth perspective, right? So how are we looking at from the depth perspective? Because if Jordan Phillips goes, say that Poona, or say, for example, that Settle goes down with an injury, like our depth looks like ass, right? So I'm not entirely sure. But then again, what could happen? So if you're going to complain about subscriber mode and be on this page, subscribe and be quiet. Dude, children, man. Absolute children just go in. By the way, Andy Johnson, thank you so much, man. Love all the support. You're the man. And so I'm still concerned about Stephon Diggs. I think that we're fine. And so I think we're completely fine. Like, I mean, as soon as when he ended up putting Josh Allen on his Instagram story, I think all is well, right? And plus, like, that guy's going into camp and he's going to be getting a direct deposit of like $26 million into his bank account. I mean, you put $26 million in my bank account, like I'm showing up right to the most toxic work environment for the next 5 years with a smile on my face. Chris 716. And so that guy has no life. He lives in mommy's basement and trolls online. Dude, it's sad. It's like really, really sad. Like the funny thing is that I've never once admitted in my life that I'm like an X's and O's guy, right? Like I'm just a fan that likes talking about my team, right? Like 110%. Dude, he is such a pathetic human being. I've never met anybody in my life that would go to the trouble of making 50 plus accounts just to say the same dumb shit. Like, dude's like, yeah, man, like dude, like you have me on your channel, we'll debate. I'm like, no, fool. Why the fuck would I invite you on my channel to debate? It's a sickness. Billy Williams says, sounds lonely. I know, dude. It's so sad about this guy. It really is. Carl Tommen. Dan, we currently have 9 picks in the 2024 draft. What players do you think that Brandon Beane will flip for draft picks, and how many picks do you see us ending up with the come of the season? Dude, you know that Brandon Beane's walking out with 11. And so you know that Brandon Beane's walking out with 11. 110%. That's why I think that we know that our boy Beane loves his draft picks. That's why I'm thinking that the whole AJ Epenesa trade wouldn't be completely out of the situation from there, because I think that he's a good enough player where we would be able to get draft picks. I think, and so because of a lot of various reasons. Number one, we are going to be going through a lot of unrestricted free agents next year, a lot. And our cap isn't necessarily ideal. So I guarantee you that that's going to be Brandon Beane's number one priority, is stacking up that board as much as possible. That's why an AJ Epenesa trade makes a lot of sense. Okay, we got NPR Mosey. So with Jordan Phillips is more of a pass rushing defensive tackle. Ford is more of a run stuffer. So with NPR, Mosey comes in and great. And like those are 2 skill sets, which I think you need on the interior of your defensive line as well. And just make it work. Chris 716. So Chris 716 is coming in saying, I'm at Home Depot on Ridge now watching. What you doing at Home Depot, man? Oh, man. Look at this. Look at this. So Bills currently have 10 picks. And so in the next year's draft, 5 more, and we would tie the record. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if Brandon Beane's going for the record. That's how much that he has a huge pedigree to hold as many draft picks as humanly possible. It's pretty crazy. And so I hope we keep AJ, Dan. Absolutely. Oh, man. And so I love a good dub, man. And so I love a good dub. I really do. And so you got a washer? Oh, man. Oh, man. I could only imagine that that's probably through the roof. It's got to be at least. And so I'm fortunate enough to where I don't need to make that investment for quite some time. Mike Green is coming in saying that AJ was 3rd in sacks on the team, so the only reason to trade him would be because of cap. So it's a real sickness then. What is? This dude is twisted. What is? And so we talking about that guy that makes like 50 accounts. Screw the picks. Let's get that trophy this year. Listen, fuck them picks, baby. Fuck them picks. Yeah. And so, I mean, I feel for him, man. Trust me. I do. And so I'm really concerned about the guy, to be honest with you. But I'm going to digress. But yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen. So here's the deal, ladies and gents. We've said our piece, right? And so we've identified. So Boogie Basham, who I believe is going to be the person or the player that might be the surprise release and or trade. Then AJ Epenesa, who I think is going to be one of the players that comes out and just sort of makes it happen, right? He's going to be the most attractive for a trade deal for another team. It's just how it is. And then some people are mentioning Jordan Phillips. I'm still on the fence about that one, but can he stay healthy, right? Can he stay healthy? I think that's one of like the largest things. But at the end of the day, those are the 3 names that I think we could potentially do that. Happy 41 minutes. Oh, dude, Cody. You say Dan's happy hour is now Dan's happy 41 minutes. Hashtag drink faster or quit. That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Listen, man. I actually have cousins from Buffalo visiting in town, and I'm supposed to actually go out and grab a bite with them. And so actual happy hour. And then I know that hey, one thing I will say is that my morning show did last for about an hour and 10 today. We had a lot to talk about. We were scrolling through a bunch of cringy TikTok content for bad NFL takes. But listen, man, Bills Mafia Happy Hour. Sometimes it's 40 minutes. Sometimes it's an hour and a half. Just make sure you drink like it's for an hour and a half, right? Put them numbers up. Know what I mean? Oh, man. Then Jason N is saying that Bean is trying to accumulate picks, and so to fill most of the positions that are currently on one-year deals next year, that and a bunch of expiring deals as well. And then we have Keith Stewart saying that Boogie, and so Boogie is the one who is most likely to be traded. Yeah, man, and so I feel like we'll try, right? And so I feel like we'll try to trade Boogie Basham, but say that I was a front office, and so I wanted like a damn deal. And so although that dude is on a rookie contract, I'd probably just wait until he was released. And so I'd probably just wait until he was released and then see if I can give him a pretty good deal. And so I'm not even sure what the dead cap would be on something like that. I'm not even sure if dead cap exists with rookie contracts. And so I learn a lot. And so normally Dunn 716, like, so he lets me know about all of the like nuanced rules, and I definitely appreciate that. Dick J is coming in. Don't justify anything to these people. We appreciate what you give. No, man, not at all. It's just my boy Cody. It's my boy Cody. You know what I mean? So that don't mean that you can use. Dude, hey, listen, you know what? And so I'm honestly just taking this as flattery because I know that you guys just love spending time with me. I love it. And so I enjoy spending time with you guys as well. Spot Track, we have 21 free agents next season. Yep. And we probably have maybe enough money to bring back a quarter of them, maybe. And that's with true Brandon Bean magic. That's with true Brandon Bean magic. Jason N is coming in saying, Dan, when is the trade and cut deadline? So we need to be down by 53, I believe, a couple of days before week 1. Trade deadline, we can keep trading up until the middle of the season around then. Be like the Hulk and smash that like button. Absolutely, Mike Great. He's coming in. He's showing the love. And I definitely appreciate that. So Visible's coming in saying that Buffalo got 10 picks next draft, including the compensatory pick from Tremaine Edmonds. Look at that. Beautiful thing. And hey, now, my happy hour started 19 minutes before the stream did. Look at that. So it was beautiful. All right. Well, hey, y'all, listen, I'm going to go show some love, show some attention to my family from Buffalo that is visiting beautiful South Carolina. Show them a good time. And then you will see me tomorrow at 11 a.m. EST. As far as topics are concerned for tomorrow, I'm probably going to have to sit on it and think what's going on. I did learn something that absolutely blew my mind. Well, and so it didn't blow my mind. I've heard it in the past, but then it was just reintroduced as well. That NFL referees, it's not their only job. Like a lot of these dudes are like lawyers, surgeons, and they work throughout the season, right? And this is essentially a side hustle for them. So quite often, they're very rarely getting like any sort of continued education, right? Like they go through like rigorous training at the beginning, and then they like have meetings when like a new rule is there, but there's never any required refreshers, right? They can work their regular job literally during the damn season. All of that, man. All of it. And then I'm pretty sure that they are like the lowest paid in all of professional sports. I mean, granted, these dudes are still making like $200,000, like $200,000 on earth. which is still a significant amount of money. But like once you compare it to like NBA, NHL, I digress. But maybe we might talk about the whole like, sort of NFL officiating issue, because there's certainly quite a bit when it comes into NFL officiating about how absolute shitty it is. And then NPR Mosey says, Dan, don't forget about the 50 account guy. You're right. I am going to take my cousins out into Vermont where I am. Nah, I'm okay. And so Dew won't come to my house. Trust me. And so it'll be his number one mistake. But yeah, yo, guys, listen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in to yet another. Oh, that is a beautiful thing. All right. And so at the end of the day, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Sincerely appreciate you. And then I will see you next time. Deuces.